If your calendar is full, but you still feel behind, this is why. You're chasing too many goals at once. And the problem isn't that you can't handle it, it's that you can. So you keep saying yes, the goals keep piling on, and then you crash. So in this video, I'm gonna help you choose 3 goals max for the next 90 days and build a simple plan for what to do for each of those days so you stop being busy just for the sake of being busy and start making real progress. And here's the non-negotiable part. Rest is scheduled, not as a reward, as part of the system. Because what's the point of making a plan if it's not sustainable? If you're new here, my name is Nisha. I'm an internal medicine doctor, and I used to be that girl who had 20 goals on her to-do list at any one time. And I used to think that locking myself in my room for 12 hours a day would be the thing I need to do to achieve them. So after burning out and having to take 6 months off of work, I took a hard look at my life and rebuilt the systems I use to achieving my goals. And so now I make videos for busy women who want to live a balanced and healthy life without compromising on their ambition. Okay, so class is officially in session. So for this part, you do need some paper. So grab your trusty notebook, your scrap pieces of paper, whatever you have in front of you, and start writing down the things you want to achieve in 2026. And don't hold back. Sky is the limit. And think about these 4 prompts as you construct your list. What do you want your ordinary week to look and feel like? Describe a realistic Monday through Friday for you, and be as detailed as possible in terms of where you want your energy to go to. What are the things you do to promote your health every week? How are you spending time in your relationships? What are your ideal work hours? And what habits do you have every morning, every evening that the dream version of yourself does every single day? What are the things that you're currently paying for with your time, stress, and attention? So list your top 3 costs. And these can be things like sleep, rushing, scrolling, or saying yes too much. Then reflect on which cost, if reduced or eliminated, would create the most relief in your life. So once you have your full list and you've reflected on these 4 prompts, circle 3, and no more than 3. It can even be less than 3. And it doesn't have to be 3. That's just the maximum that you're allowed to do. And this might not be something that you're gonna figure out in the span of this video. Circle the 3 things now and then sleep over it. And then tomorrow morning, look at your list again and see how you feel. But my advice would be find the 3 things that provoked the most emotional response in you. It can be negative, it can be positive, but that usually means that thing is something that resonates the most with who you are. And honestly, that makes for the best and most worthwhile goals to achieve in life. So it might feel weird and almost cringy to only pick 3 out of your giant list. Trust me, I needed a lot of holding my own hand when I did this. But as you progress through these 3 goals in the next 12 weeks, more importantly, giving your actual 100% to these tasks allows you to live a much more fulfilling life. Because as a high achieving woman who loves to be busy, I think even more than being busy, we love the feeling of giving our 100% attention to a single task and achieving that task. And also, it's totally fine to just start off with 1 or even 2 goals, especially if you're finding yourself in a season of burnout. I find that is the best way to recover if you just start off with 1. So part of the system is to have weekly review sessions to check in on how you're doing with your goals, and more importantly, to determine if they're actually something you can achieve within this time frame. Not every single goal is created equal in terms of time and effort. For example, my initial 3 goals were to create a plant-based diet app to help people lose weight, grow on YouTube, and become fluent in Hindi. So during my weekly sessions, I realized that my first 2 goals were very time-consuming. And so the 3rd goal, if I were to have one, had to be something that was not very complicated to execute, or I just had to get rid of it. So I replaced becoming fluent in Hindi with losing 6 pounds, because I realized my first goal of creating a plant-based diet app involved me actually using calorie tracking apps every single day as part of my tasks. And if I'm using those calorie tracking apps anyway, I could easily fit in this goal of losing weight, because the main component of achieving that goal is to track your calories and make sure you're eating less than a certain amount of calories. So at this point, don't stress if you feel like your goals are not big enough or they are too big. The weekly check-in sessions are designed to help you troubleshoot that. Okay, so for this next part, we are going to write down or type out, if you're using a laptop, all the little tasks that need to be done in order for you to achieve your goal. And for this part, be patient with yourself. Last year when I did this for the first time, I was so annoyed that I couldn't knock this thing out in an hour, and I was beating myself up over it. But the more time you invest in this part, the more effective your 12 weeks are going to be. And to be honest, this part took me about a week to complete, especially if you're working full time. I mean, girl, you're not gonna have time to just carve out 3-4 hours of your day to figure this out. So for example, one of my goals is to lose 6 pounds. The most evidence-based method of weight loss is to be in a calorie deficit. So I calculated what that was, and then the only thing left was to figure out what I need to do every single day for me to achieve that calorie deficit. So the biggest part, tracking everything I ate. I used a calorie tracking app. And then I also included morning workouts, because I've noticed that when I work out first thing in the morning, it creates this domino effect where I make all of these amazing healthy choices for the rest of my day. For my goal of growing on YouTube, my weekly to-do lists are going to be create weekly videos, daily shorts, and all the nitty-gritty details that need to go into those tasks. So be as specific as possible, and don't be hard on yourself if it takes a while, because for me, I was working full time, so I got this done in a week. And also, don't put pressure on yourself to get all of these tasks correct, because as I mentioned in the first part, we're going to have these weekly check-in sessions where you can actually assess if the tasks you're doing are reaching you towards your goals. And the last part is to track your goals with a daily scorecard. And you can use my free template I created on Notion. So on Notion, you're going to write down first your 3 goals or 1 goal, write down your start and end dates of your 90-day period. And then here you just see week 1, 2, 3, and so on until week 12. And for each day of the week, you have a list of to-do lists. And this is where you're going to actually write down all of your little needle moving tasks that you want done each day of that week. That's gonna get you towards your goals. And either on Mondays or Sundays, you're going to include a session where you're gonna review your progress. So for this first week, don't think too much about it. Just write down all of your needle moving activities that you want to do every single day. And make sure, don't forget to schedule that check-in session. And then at the end of the first week, at your check-in session, assess how the week went. So first, see what tasks were you able to accomplish and what didn't work out. And this part is so crucial, because if at the end of your 12 weeks, you're falling short on some of your goals, you actually have a full data sheet that will give you a lot of insight on why something's not working, or maybe the task that you thought would move you forward is actually not helping as much as you thought. This also helps to keep us honest with ourselves, because as a former workaholic hustle culture girl, I would beat myself up for not achieving XYZ goals. And what this data sheet does is force me to realize, oh, it's not that I suck. There are these tasks that I'm clearly not doing every single day or every week to help me achieve what I want to achieve. And why is that happening? I might not have the time to do it. And so I need to reassess what I can actually achieve with the time I have. And furthermore, having a weekly scorecard is also just good for morale. And it helps you take rest blocks without feeling guilty. Because how I structure my day is I have these mandatory 2-hour free time rest blocks during dinner every single day, non-negotiable. And there was a time in my early 20s when I would deny myself this kind of rest block because I thought I had to work 12 hours a day on my goals. But what the scorecard does is it actually specifies every single task that you need to do every single day. So once you're done with those tasks, you're done. Your day is done. You're free to take whatever rest blocks you want. And let me be very honest with you, we actually end up saving so much time when we get very specific on what tasks we need to do to achieve a goal. And this is coming from someone who would lock herself in her room for 12 hours a day studying because I thought that's what it took for me to get straight A's or a certain test score, whatever. No, as long as you're strategic with what you are doing, with the time you have, you can stay in for the long run. And before we get into final thoughts, I want to stress how important your rest blocks are. And if you do follow the system of maximum 3 goals, figure out what's the small needle moving thing you're going to do every single day to get you closer to those goals, and actually scheduling them into your daily routine, you will have time for rest. And it is so important to have that time for your brain to wander. And I'm not saying that your rest blocks have to be you going to the spa or anything. No, it's, for me, my rest blocks are just dinner with my family and then playing a card game or something before my bedtime routine hits. In fact, I don't schedule any work after 5:30 because I literally can't sleep at night if I do that. Okay, so quick recap. If you're feeling overwhelmed, the reason you feel overwhelmed isn't because you're doing life wrong. It's because you have too many goals on your to-do list. So for the next 90 days, pick 3 goals and list the small needle-moving activities that move that goal forward. Schedule them into your week and then track them with the daily scorecard. And I really want to reiterate, rest blocks are not a bonus, they're part of the system. And if you don't schedule it, your brain is going to take it anyway, in the form of procrastination, doom scrolling, or like me, full-on burnout. So we're gonna do it on purpose without guilt. And if you wanna make this easy, I created a free Notion scorecard template that you can use every single day. It's available in the description box below. And then here's your homework. For tonight, choose your 3 goals and create a 7-day weekly plan. Keep it simple and realistic. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a plan that you're actually going to follow. And if you do this, I want you to comment down below 3 goals locked in and tell me what those 3 goals are. And I'll also know what videos to make next to support you. So if you like that video, please hit the like and subscribe button. I make videos every single week. And if you want more, I do have a free email newsletter about meditations on health and wellness. And you can check out the link in the description box below. Otherwise, I hope y'all have a happy, healthy rest of your day, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!